Good day, motivators. I'm H1 Bertrand, and today we'll be going over the NAVMED P-5052-26 Shipboard Pest Management Manual. All right. Some things we're going to talk about. The German cockroach, the most common. All right. This bug is identified by the longitudinal stripes behind its head, also known as lieutenant bars. All right, it's flat and brown-like insect which can be easily identified from those markings. The shipboard pest management specialist should conduct cockroach survey every 2 weeks in food services areas and weekly until cockroach no longer present a problem. So every 2 weeks in food services areas and weekly until there's no longer a problem. So now we're going to talk about the stored product pests, SPPs. Over 100 species ranging from insects, mostly beetles and moths, that can cause considerable damage to stored substances. All right. So it takes a very small amount of them to create great damage, right, to a large amount of products, right? So that's why these are very important. We got to make sure that we could get rid of these as soon as we can, all right? So medically important beetles, all right, dermestide beetles. So these are medically important because they could cause intestinal trauma, eye irritation, and dermatitis and allergic reaction. All right, some of those are the copper beetles, originating in India. This is a quarantinable insect. Any dermicide infestation must be handled extremely aggressively. One or more of these living or dead larvae or trichoderma or other dermicide species shall be justification for condemnation of the entire lot. So one or more, we're going to get rid of that lot or whatever that product is. All right. Flower beetles. These flower beetles also secrete something called benzoyl-quinines. The reported toxic and carcinogenic effects of benzoyl-quinine and possible levels in stored foods indicate a potential hazard. Right? So that's why these are very important and medically important, and something that holds that we're concerned about if they're in a lot of products. All right. A tolerance level of only 3 or more of these insects per pound of flour is greater than infestation, lower than the limit of 7 or more. All right, so typically 7 or more. Some other insects, this one's 3 or more. It's called for concerns if it's in our products. Non-medical important stored product pests. So some of those are the common. Your sawtooth grain beetle. This is the most common stored product pest. All right. Rice weevil, most destructive in the meal moth, #1 pest of dry fruits storage, and drugstore beetle will eat almost anything. So non-medical important, all right, but something we should be concerned about. Sawtooth grain beetle, this is the most common stored product pest. Rice weevil, most destructive in the meal moth, #1 pest of dry fruits in storage. Drugstore beetle will eat almost anything. Surveillance. All right, so we know there's a possibility of getting stored product pests and rodents on our ship. Right? How do we mitigate those things? How do we identify? We have to do surveillance. All right, random inspection of packages should detect infestation of stored product pests. You're done by weekly storage inspections. All right. And medical department personnel should inspect storerooms at least monthly. And you're going to report infestations on the DD form 1222. So how are you going to do that? In addition to recording it, you're going to preserve at least two specimens in 70% ethyl alcohol. All right. Other than moths, moths should be submitted in dry vials without any alcohol. Do not use cotton vial specimens; can become tangled in the fibers. So if you do that, you're just gonna mess up your sample if you add alcohol or add cotton to it. Infested commodities. When infested commodities are discovered in a storeroom, segregate them from other substances and put them in a cold area. So we're not just going to throw it away. We're going to segregate whatever infestation that we found, and we're going to store the rest of it in cold storage. So there's a time purpose for freezing it, putting it in cold area, because that kills the majority of those infestations. Right? So at least 3 days is going to kill most of the infestation. And 2 weeks at 0 degrees Fahrenheit will kill all the rest of the infestation. So I'm gonna talk about our rodents. We've heard of, we've seen these on tests before. A nori rat, also called the common rat or the brown rat. It is associated with disease such as tularemia, spotted fever, and the bubonic. The next one is the roof rat, also associated with the bubonic, but more particular, it was the cause of the Black Death of the 14th century that killed a third of Europe's population. So the roof rat was the fault. And also called the ship rat, which caused the bubonic plague. Prevention is key. Sanitation is the cornerstone in successful rodent control. Rat guards on all tendon lines. If you see a ship, you have to understand more ship to repair. You got these metal cylinder things that are on the line to kind of prevent the rats from going straight across the line. Alright, so it's 36 inch minimum outside diameter, and with the cone angle of 30 degrees, it's 18 gauge steel aluminum. Alright, point of the cone towards the ship, and it should be at least the rat guard should be at least 6 foot from the pier and greater than 2 feet from the ship. 6 foot from the pier. Right. Lastly, let's talk about our bed bugs. Talk about killing morale of your crew and living conditions of your crew. And bed bugs will definitely cause. So bed bugs, these can seriously affect crew's morale. And this concludes our lesson for today.